Create Art Podcast. Project NaPoWriMo, otherwise known as National Poetry Writing Month. Hello friends, this is Timothy Chemo Bryan, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast, where I bring my 20 plus years of experience in the arts and education world to help you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. So this month is National Poetry Writing Month. Happens every April. And National Poetry Writing Month is known as NaPoWriMo, and it's a creative writing project. And what they do is they give you prompts. If you go to the NaPoWriMo website at NaPoWriMo.net, and they'll give you 30 prompts for the 30 days in April. Now, on the website, you can also interact with other people. This year is going to be different from the previous years that I've done this project. This year, I'm going to be writing poetry throughout the year, and I am following a different prompt than the one that the National Poetry Writing Month folks do. Now, I've been doing poetry since 1988. I know for a lot of people here, they're like, whoa, the 1900s. But I've been doing it for a long time. I've been writing poetry for a long time and performing my poetry. So this year, like I said, I'm going to be writing all throughout the year. And the blog that I'm using is called Think Written. And the links for that will be in the show notes. I'm also going to be performing these works at Katura Coffee House here in Fredericksburg, Virginia on their Friday night Snaps open mic poetry reading. You'll have a link for that again in the show notes. And a lot of people, they ask me, hey, Tim, why do you do this to yourself every year? And my answer to that is, if I'm going to ask you to be, taming your inner critic and creating things, then I need to be doing it too, right alongside you. So that's why this year I'm doing it a little bit different, but I will be interacting with the poets there on the NaPoWriMo site. And we'll see how this goes. I'm pretty excited to be doing it this way. Okay, so for today's prompt, challenges you to write a love poem, one that names at least one flower, contains one parenthetical statement, and in which at least some lines break in unusual places. So this is kind of a visual one, so you may be better off looking at it from the website. But this one is one I call Giving Love Another Try. I wasn't content with being alone, but I wasn't interested in sharing everything. I wasn't content with the life, but I wasn't interested in starting over. I wasn't content with the past, but I wasn't interested in rehashing us. I wasn't content with the situation, but I wasn't interested in developing feelings. I found contentment in your eyes. I found interest in your smile. I found tulips where you walked. You didn't want just another body, but you did try to love. You didn't want this to fail, but you did rely on defenses. You didn't want me to escape, but you did honor my freedom. You found where I hid my heart. You found a way to trust me. You found daisies to put everywhere. We weren't sure about our compatibility, but we tried to make it. We weren't sure about being dependent, but we tried with open minds. We weren't sure about our lasting, but we tried and are trying. We were met with scoffs. We sometimes scoffed at ourselves. We planted a family. We weren't sure, but we tried. You didn't want, but you did. I wasn't content, but I wasn't interested. And so far, it's the journey that we needed to be on together. All right, so that was my poem for this day for National Poetry Writing Month. I hope you enjoyed it. You can go right to the website, createartpodcast.com, and you can go ahead and comment right there in the comment section if you like. Now, something I'd like to ask you is, if you enjoyed it, shoot me an email. Timothy@createartpodcast.com. I want to hear about your journey, and I want to hear about what you're working on. And if you'd like to be on the show, or would like to discuss a topic that's giving you trouble, well then go ahead and email me. Let's start that conversation. I also want to let you know about another podcast that I do, and that one is called Find a Podcast About, and that's where I help you find your next binge-worthy podcast and outsmart that algorithm. You can find that podcast at findapodcastabout.xyz. Last thing I'd like to say here is if you found value in the show, let me know. Pass it on to a friend. If you have ideas on what I could do better to make this a 5-star podcast, I want to hear about those too. I want to be helping you with your art, to be bold with your art, as I do it right beside you. I'll see you next time.